And what great organizations are doing is, instead of thinking, how can we impress the people that we want to connect with, they're switching their mindsets to, how can we relate with the people that we want to connect with. It's not about impressing, it's about being relatable and building that connection. One of the greatest leaders of all time said this: do I need to be liked? Absolutely not. I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked. I have to be liked. But it's not this compulsive need like my need to be praised. Here's the thing I've learned about communication. If you need the room, you cannot lead the room. If you need the room, you cannot lead the room. What do I mean by that? If you're looking for validation for your self-worth from the room that you're speaking to, you will have lost influence. The person who's most comfortable in their own skin wins. The person who shows up saying, I don't actually need anything from you, that's the person that wins. I did a call earlier this month with about 50 CEOs. It was a virtual call. I've never had this happen before, but during my presentation, as I was coming into my conclusion, they put a survey up that took up the entire screen. And it said, how's the speaker doing? So as I'm talking, I can see people voting on how I'm doing. Slightly distracting. 40% of the room said that was the best speaker we've had. 60% of the room said he did a great job. And one person said, that speaker was just okay. Now, several years ago, that would have wrecked me. Because I would have gone, oh my goodness, this is what I do for a profession. I can't believe I didn't connect with that person. What's wrong? It would have gone right to my identity. But it doesn't anymore. Do I want to improve as a communicator? Absolutely. But now I think about the 40% of people that I did connect with. Because you're not going to connect with everyone. See, I switched my perspective from I need to do a good job to what do they need from me. When you show up to a room ready to serve, ready to give and not get, that's the best way to overcome the fear of rejection. When you're there showing up not to get ahead in your career and all these different things, but because you actually love the people you're communicating with, it brings out the best in you as a communicator. But even after all that, some people will still reject you. Even if you show up authentically, even if you show up to serve, even if your identity isn't rooted in their validation, some people will still reject you. So the question is connection worth it? Is connection worth it? And I believe it is. Again, rejection is painful. We've all experienced rejection. For me, it was as a kid, and actually lots of times in my life I've been rejected. The worst one that I've ever had was in college. It was a girl. A girl that I had fallen in love with. It was the first girl I ever loved. We were long distance. We talked for hours on the phone. We talked about having kids together. And in college, because we were long distance, she ended it. And it devastated me. Hardest time of my life. And we take those experiences. I know I'm not the only one who's gone through some kind of rejection. Each one of us has gone through rejection. And unfortunately, we take those experiences into our work. We take those things into the way that we communicate. After years of not being in touch with her, I reached out to her out of the blue. And I said, hey, can we talk? She said, yeah. So we met up. And I said, hey, I've known you most of my adult life. I don't need to get to know you better. I don't need to date you. This isn't a proposal, but I am going to propose soon. So I wanted to give you a heads up to think about it. She was surprised. 2 weeks later, I got down on one knee, and genuinely not knowing what she would say, I said, will you marry me? She said yes. 11 years, yesterday, we celebrate our anniversary. It's been the best. It's been the best. And we had all those kids that we talked about having. When I look at the people on that screen, those people have brought more joy to my life than anything else on this planet. But you know what? She could have said no. She could have said no, and it would have been the most painful time in my life. But I was willing to risk it. I was willing to choose to connect. I was willing to have the courage to say, this is how I feel. Do you feel the same? I'm telling you, this week, you're going to have lots of moments when you can choose to hide, when you can choose to impress, or you can choose to connect. In just a minute, you're going to walk out there and people are going to be having a conversation, and you'll have a choice to either say, I'm going to go back to my hotel room, or I'm going to go over there and say, hey, I'm Tony. Only say that if your name is Tony. You'll have a chance to connect. You'll have a presentation coming up where you'll feel the urge to hide and hold back and play small. Choose to connect. You'll meet someone important over the next few months, and you'll think, I really got to put my best foot forward and really impress them. Choose to connect. I don't know sign language yet, but I'm working on it. This is my friend Al from the gym. We connect every day. I've met over 100 new people at the gym. Some people think I'm weird. But some of those have become great connections that have actually changed my life. Here's the thing, some people will still reject you, but some people won't. And the chance that you can connect with someone can change your life. You are one connection away. You're one connection away from your personal and professional life being absolutely transformed. So my encouragement to you is choose to connect. Because when you choose to connect, when you communicate to connect, you won't just change your own life, but with your words, you can change the world. Thank you. Appreciate it.